Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how you can duplicate our SEO report template for your own use. First of all, you should be getting a link to our SEO report template that was provided to you through email. All right, so all you need to do is just click on the link and you should be seeing this exact same report that I'm seeing right now. So the first step in order for you to use this report is to duplicate this particular report by clicking on this make a copy of this report icon here. So just try it out, click on this button, and then what you need to do next is you need to assign your own data source to the report. So if you already have an existing data source, you can just make use of your existing data source. If you do not have one, all you need to do is just create a new data source. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be going through creation of a new data source as well. One thing to take note is this. We will need 3 different data sources. So we need a Google Search Console URL, we need a Google Analytics data source, and lastly, we need the Google Search Console site data source. So for Google Search Console, there are 2 different data sources. One is for URL, one is for site. So let's go through them one by one. All right. So the first one that I will be creating is the GSC URL. So let's try creating a new data source for GSC URL. Just click on the create new data source and scroll down to Search Console. Once you click the Search Console, you search for the website that you want to use in this report. So I'm going to be selecting one. And as I mentioned earlier, there are 2 different versions. One is for site, one is for impression. Right now, the first one that we'll be creating is the URL. So just click on the URL impression and select web as the property parameter and click the connect button here at the top right corner. Once done, next step is to add in a calculated field. All right, so click on the add a field button here. And the first calculated field that we'll be adding is the number of keywords that will be used in the report. So just type in number of keywords, give it a name, and in the formula input, just type in count, select it, and select query. Query is basically the same thing as keywords, so just select query, and this means that I will be calculating or counting all the queries that I have in my Google Search Console account, and I will be labeling them as number of keywords. All right, so just save this calculated field, and once it's done, close it. And for URL, we will be creating one additional calculated field. So just click on add a field again. This time I will name it number of landing pages, and do the same thing. I'll be using the count formula, but instead of counting query, this time I'll be counting the landing page. So now I have created this new calculated field for my number of landing pages. So just click save again. Once it's done, close, and that's it. You have created 2 new calculated fields. And last but not least, you need to give it a name. So I'm just going to call this test GSC URL. So give it a name, say it's test or whatever name of your site, and remember to label it correctly. I'm going to be calling it GSC URL because later on we'll be having another GSC, which is GSC site. Once you have done renaming it, just click on the add to report button here. Now you have added in the data source for this particular report. So we are going to be doing the same thing for our Google Analytics and also the Google Search Console site. So let's quickly go through it. Create a new data source for Google Analytics, and I'm going to be selecting Google Analytics here. Search for the site that I want to use. And select all website data. Once done, click on the connect button here. And for Google Analytics, there is no need to add any additional field. So that is basically it. All you need to do is just rename it. So I'm going to call it Test GA and click the Add to Report button here. And the last one, GSC site. So going through the same process, create a new data source, going to Search Console, selecting my site. And this time I will be selecting site impression, web, and click the connect button. I will be adding one calculated field as well, so it will be similar to what we have created earlier. I will call this number of keywords and do a count formula and select query. So this allows me to count the query for my number of keywords. So once it's done, just click save. close it, and that's it. Only one calculated field is required for this. And don't forget to rename it. So I'm going to be calling this test GSC site this time and add it to report. So now once this is done, you have created 3 different data sources that will be used for your report. And make sure that you are selecting that correctly. So GSC URL, make sure it's GSC URL. GA is GA, GSC site is equivalent to GSC site here. So once confirming all these 3 new data sources, so what you need to do is just click on the copy report button here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And it will start to copy our SEO report template by using the new data source that you have just created. And just give it some time to load the new report right now. So right after it is being copied, you will see the exact same report, just like what we have in our template. But the only difference will be it is using your data source. So all these numbers in the report right now will be reflecting the performance, the metrics coming in from your data source. All right. So the next thing you need to do is just rename your report. So you can call it anything. I will be calling it test SEO report, for example. There will be one final step that you will need to do, which is to set up your filterings. So if you click on resource here, go to manage filters, you will be able to see there is tons of filters that has been created for you. The one that we really want to focus here is the branded versus non-branded keywords. All right. So this is where you define what keywords is considered branded keywords for this particular website and what keywords is not considered as branded keywords. All right. So let me edit the branded keywords. Branded keywords here, just click on the edit button here. And what you need to do is just put in your branded keywords here. All right. So this is going to be a little bit more technical. What you need to do is just replace the word here. I have 2 words here. One is latest, one is phone. So what you need to do is basically just change the brand name. So for example, if your brand is Google, all you need to do is just replace these 2 words and put in the word Google. All right. And this will effectively help you to filter out your branded keywords versus your non-branded keywords. Do take note of the 2 different special characters here. We have the dot asterisk and we have the dot asterisk in front as well. So the dot asterisk basically means anything in front or anything behind my branded keywords, it doesn't matter. As long as the keywords contain the word Google, it will still show it to me. So you might see keywords containing Google.com, Google US, and so on. It will still be shown as your branded keyword. So this is how you set up your branded keyword. All right. So next one. So I'm just going to change this and click save. And do the same for your other filter. So go back to filters. And earlier I have changed the branded keywords. So the next one is I will be changing my non-branded keyword. So non-branded keywords basically is the same thing. I will just be changing this text here to Google, my branded keyword, remaining the dot asterisk in front and at the back. And instead of using include as I did earlier for my branded keyword, I will make sure that non-branded keywords are a list of keywords that will be excluding my brand name. All right, so that's why I will be using exclude here instead of include, and just click the save button. And that's it. You have just duplicated and created a very comprehensive SEO report for your website or for your client's website. Click on the view button as you can see here, and you should be able to see the full report with all the different pages that we have. So we have the total 5 pages here. Clicking on this particular button here, you should be able to see the different reports. We have the site performance report, we have the conversion report, we have the sales report, a keyword performance report, and last but not least, the branded versus non-branded report. Right? So each of these reports will give you different metrics, different insights. And for sales performance report, this is really only used for e-commerce website. So if your website is not really an e-commerce website, you can actually just remove this particular report. So how do you do that? Just click on the edit button here. This is where you can select different pages of your report, and clicking on the 3 dots here will allow you to either rename, duplicate it, hide it, or even remove it. All right. finally, when the report is ready, you can just click on the share button here to share the report to any of your stakeholders. So just click on the share button, click on manage access. You can open it up for anyone with the link and allowing them to view the report. And this will be the generated share link. So just copy the link and share it to whoever you want and click the save button when you are ready. All right, so that's it. That's how you duplicate the report and share it with whoever stakeholders that you want to share it with. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.